Hello everyone. In this video we will learn string methods in Python. Strings are text. For example, you have a string hello in quotes, single quotes or double quotes on both sides. So all are strings. And string methods help us change, check and clean text. These are used in real programs like forms, passwords, search boxes and data cleaning. So let's start with our first string methods lower and upper. I have the sample code here. This is an example and you can see the text is a string that stores the hello world. And if you want to convert this string hello world into make it all lowercase, you simply call the text, which is the variable that has the string, and then say text dot lower, and this lower method converts everything in the word to be all lowercase. In the string, entire string becomes lowercase. In the same way, when you call the dot upper, it makes all the string to be in the uppercase. So let's run this program and you will see that the output is the same. This is a comment, so this is the expected string and we got that expected string. So we use this when we want the text to be in the same style. Sometimes you may want all your string to be in lowercase or in uppercase. For example, when you want to compare usernames or emails, and you can use these methods. So let's take a look at the next method, the string method, which is the strip. And I have an example code here, and in this case this is a string that stores the name of the person, Alice, and you can see there are spaces at the beginning and end of the string. And when you can in that case if you want to wipe out all the string, clean out all the empty spaces in the string, you just need to call this dot strip, and you can see that this method actually stripped all the white spaces or the empty spaces or the extra spaces, so you get a clean, helps to clean the input. And let's look at the next string method, which is the replace, and this is one of the popular methods that we use in programming. Let's say you have a sentence, for example, I like cats, and you want to replace the cat with the string dogs. So you can call this method dot replace. So what this method does is it takes two parameters. The first method is the first string is a string that you want to look and replace it with the string dogs. So when I print this new statement now, this new sentence prints the output I like dogs. So let's run this program. So you can see that it replaces this with dogs or anything you want to put here. So it is that easy it is. So this is very useful when you want to edit any text in your programming code. And let's move on to the next method, which is the split. And I have the example code here, and take a look at this example. Here we store the apple, banana, orange, this string in this variable data. And when you call the method dot split, what it's going to do is it's going to find all the commas in the string and it's going to split. In other words, it's going to break the string and store it in a list. So let's run this program and see what's the output is going to be. So you can see here, so it found all the commas and then it split the string into three, because we have two commas here. So we got the apple, banana and orange. Each are strings and they are stored in a list. So when you are reading a CSV file that has this data, for example, or any user input, and when you want to split the output and store it in the list, and later in the programming you can use this list, easy to access each string variable by saying their index 0, 1 or 2. So in such cases you can use the split method. And let's move on to the next string method, which is the join. And let's take an example of this word string. So what this join does is it takes the words, the string, whatever in the thing, and joins them together. When you join the words into one string, you can notice here that I have the space dot join. What this space does is, as you can see in the output, so it takes each portion of the string in the list and it joins them using the space separator. So there is a space. When it joins, it's not going to join without any. If you remove the space here, let's see what happens. It's going to simply attach everything, connect everything, and you get one concatenated string. So this is a beautiful thing. So let's say I want to decorate my output with a plus sign. It's going to join them, but it's going to introduce this plus in between the joins. String method, which is very interesting. And here you have a string called I love Python, and I want to find where is the word Python is in the string. And you can see that it's going to print 7. And let's see why it prints the word 7, because that is the position of the text. And let's see the position. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So anything after the position 7, it's going to return. Or in other words, anything, the position where the first character of the word, or the entire word in this case, it's going to return the position here. And let's say what happens if I ask it to find something that is not there in the string. It's going to return -1. That means it could not find, the word is not found, so it returned 1. So this is very useful. And okay, moving on to the next string method is the starts with or ends with. So these methods check how a string begins or ends. So this is useful for checking file types, for example. So when I run this program, it's going to say, is the file name ends with PDF? Let's say in the program you want to test whether the file name ends with PDF. So you can see that the file is a PDF file. So you can call this method ends with, and it returns true if it really ends with the .pdf file extension. And in the same way, you can also use the starts with. So it basically checks whether the file name or the string, the file name is a string, so the string, if it starts with the report, then it prints true. So this is very useful when you want to check something. Suppose you are downloading a file, or you are getting a file from a specific location, and the downloaded file is in text format, and it's going to check false. So you downloaded a PDF file when you clicked on a link, or when you retrieved a file from a location. So these kind of logics you can use in your programming. These are useful methods, and you can check the file types especially. And moving on to the next string method is the isAlpha or isDigit. So what it basically does, you take a string and you can check whether that string is a digit. So the string can contain a complete string or numbers or alphanumeric characters, a combination of strings and numbers. So it's going to return either true or false. So it's very helpful for validating user inputs. So it's going to print true, true, and false. This is true because this is a digit completely full of numbers, and this is a complete string, so it's an alpha, which is a string, alphabetic string, and it's going to return false otherwise. And this one is alphabets and numbers, so it's alphanumeric. And there is a small real world example I can show you, putting it all together. So you have an email like this, and you want to clean the email. For example, this has spaces at the end and beginning, so you can use the strip, and then you can also chain the methods. So once you call the strip method, it's going to output another. So the result of this is a stripped email address, and then this stripped email address is then passed to the next method. So it's called chaining. So you can keep adding dot lower, dot upper. So here everything is done in one sentence. So you don't want, so you can write, strip the email first and then make it all lowercase, and then you store the result. So now you have a lowercase cleaned email, and then in the email you are going to call this method ends with. You are checking whether the email has the correct domain, that is the @example.com. So if it has that, we are going to print valid company email, or else we are going to print invalid email. So you get the valid email. So if I have a different email, it's going to print invalid. So there you can see the practical example. So it removes the spaces, makes the letters lowercase, and then it checks the string ending. So this is how the string methods are used in real applications. And one of the important thing you need to learn is the string methods do not change the original string. They return a new string. For example, when you say email.strip and then other string methods, it's not going to change the email string itself. The email is going to be the same string because the strings are immutable. So whenever you do any modification to a string, you need to store the result in a new variable because the original variable is not muted or changed, modified. So that's why you shouldn't remember that. So they calling these methods produces a cleaned string, which is the result. You want to make sure that you store the result in a new string, and then you do further manipulation. And that's the idea you need to keep in mind. And that's all we learned in this video. So we looked at the methods that cleaned text, changed text, checked the text, and you also learned how to split the text, break the text apart, and then build text together. So these are very important methods for real programs. So practice these methods in VS Code or any of your favorite IDE. Try your own examples. In the next video, we will take a look at the Python user input and string conversion, that is using the input, int, float, and the str methods for converting the strings. So see you in the next lesson.